Welcome everyone to our weekly class. We are going to be covering a lot today, so get ready, get set. You might want to get your geniuses ready to roll. If you want to have your geniuses close by so that you too can look at what we're doing. You can watch and look at the different panels. You're welcome to do that. You can also volunteer, and we do have some cases set up for today. You're still welcome to send your information in, and we could always cover your case next week if we don't get to it this week, so you're welcome to do that. If you look in the chat, you can chat and ask questions. You can put your questions in the question box. Okay, so a couple of things. My website is awakentotalhealth.com. It's a little different from the main Genius website. You can go to my website for training, for resources. You can purchase the Genius through me and get some of the special educational packages that I have. Just totally your call on that. And if you want to get in contact with me, then let's just pull this down for 1 second. So let's go here. All right, so if you go to my website and then you just go to send us a message down here, that comes right to my email, you guys. Or feel free to call me anytime during the week. And why isn't that still accessible here? There we go. Okay, so there's the phone number right there. So you can call me and you actually will reach me directly. So you're welcome to do that. Or send me a message right down here. I can return your emails faster than I can return phone calls. Now, something I'm going to be talking about today is our cancer class. And you guys, I've expanded the scope of the cancer class because as I was writing the materials for the cancer class, it came to my attention that so many things that we address for cancer apply to chronic illness. So if you're dealing with someone with chronic issues, whether it be rheumatoid arthritis or fibromyalgia or chronic headaches, you need to know about how to approach your cases with this class. So we are going to be doing a thorough review of what causes people to fall into chronic issues. And once you look at them with biofeedback, it will change everything and you'll be able to get to the root cause and help them. You will also understand them on a very deep level. So we're going to go through those issues. We're also going to be talking very, very deeply about healing your past traumas, because every chronic issue carries with it at least one overarching emotional conflict or past issue which is playing again and again and again. Now, of course, there are often multiple issues, but the problem is often that there's no easy way to clear them. So we're talking about some cutting edge ways to clear them with biofeedback and also through a couple of techniques that I'm going to teach you. So when we think about chronic issues and the person says, gosh golly, Dr. Ariel, I've tried everything and nothing is working, then you're working in the wrong area. So we're going to be talking about the whole rainbow spectrum of issues that cause chronic illness. One of the most important being these unresolved traumas where people go to therapy for years and they just review them and review them and review them, and therefore they sort of dig a bigger hole for themselves. They sort of enhance that vibration and then they continue to magnetize that same experience in terms of attracting it. So we really need to review this, you guys, because all illness is a deviation from the norm. All illness is a deviation from your true state of being. So anytime you're not well, that is only an invitation for you to correct something. And it's not that what you're doing is wrong. It's an opportunity for you to change something. It's basically a touchstone along the journey saying, listen, if you look at this piece, this could profoundly shift your life, and it's going to help you to return to your state, your most normal state of being, which is exceptionally well. So we need to explore those pieces. We need to look at nutrition. We need to look at toxicity. We need to look at the digestive system and the liver's capacity. We need to look at the immune system, but we also need to look at, what does a person keep saying to themselves? What are the sticky points? And you guys, if you talk to somebody literally about their chronic illness for more than 20 minutes, I can guarantee you will stumble over that piece, okay? Because you're going to hear the patterns of their speech, the things they keep repeating, and you will start to get the gist of their story, where the limitation is. And biofeedback can help you with that. So if you want powerful results, if you want to use your biofeedback in a very exceptional way, instead of just sort of, well, gosh, golly, I think I'll push a couple of these buttons and I'll hope for some really good results, then jump into this class, you guys. Get really good results with this system. And this is level 2 of our practitioner certificate program, but you don't need to take level 1. It's recommended that you download level 1 and view it, but it's not required. So if you just want to get really good results and really help people, and you're dealing with people with chronic illnesses, then I would definitely recommend jumping into the class. We're going to talk about cancer, but we're also going to talk about the general themes around illness. So definitely check that class out. Just one more thing I want to tell you about, and I'm just going to leave you the link for you to read about, is our intensive, our in-person intensive in San Diego that happens at the end of April. You have plenty of time to register for this. So we do have some discounts that end soon on February 20th. So if you want to get the discounted rate, you could register it for sooner than later. So if you want to come meet me in person and have somebody hold your hand and teach you about the genius and how to get good results in person, then you can come to that class at the end of April. It will be a fantastic opportunity to get to know other people in the community. And it's always been my experience that in those classes, those are the connections that you make for life with like-minded people. So definitely check that link out as well. If you have not gotten the Genius yet, be sure to go to my website and ask me about our weekly special. I have some special gifts and bonuses for you if you want to get your Genius system this week. So be sure to join us for that. Be sure to contact me for that special, because I have some really cool stuff that I want to give to you if you get your Genius system this week. Okay, we're going to jump right into some cases, and then we are going to talk about the animal companion strategies. So if you have a pet that's very, very much in need of harmonizing, go to my website and send me that animal's picture. Just go ahead to contact us and send me that. Go ahead and take a picture of your dog or your cat. Send me their date of birth, name, and picture. And we'll see how much we can get through. I do have a case today. I want to warmly welcome so many wonderful people who are here, so many new people, and we're going to go right into our case in just a second. I want to warmly welcome Julie, and definitely Julie will get to your case, and I want to welcome Alta, who's new, and Sina. Welcome. Edna. Kathy from Seattle is here. Mary A. Trying to remember where Mary is from. PT finally made it into the webinar. That's awesome. Roni is here. Sarita, warm welcome to you. I hope we got your categories to you finally. Veronica is here, or is it Veronkia? Stella's joining us. That's great. Robin R is here. So let's, Karen from Canada is here, I think. And is that correct? I don't see her here for some reason. There she is. Okay. And so I don't know if we have a voice recording there. So welcome to everybody there. Karen, let me know do we have Helen's voice? If not, we'll just get right to it. So I forgot who I have on here. Let me just jump out here for a second. You're not going to see the screen just for 1 second. Hang on. We're going to work on Helen. We're going to work on Julie. We don't mention any first or we recommend. I'm sorry. We talk about first names. We don't talk about any last names. Okay, she's there with her. Okay, fantastic. Okay. Awesome. Okay, so Karen, let's see how you're doing. Hey, Karen, how are you?
I'm absolutely excited. How are you doing today, Ariel?
I'm doing great, and it's always just such a pleasure to hear your voice and get to talk to your whole posse, your wonderful group that you have up there.
Okay, well, here's a big Ariel from all of us.
Oh, oh, that's such a great group on a Monday morning. My goodness. So is Helen there?
Yes. Yes. Just speak up there. Yeah. Yes,
Hi,
I'm here.
Helen. How are you?
I'm doing all right.
You're doing okay. I love the positivity. Well, I am going to record your voice. So I'm going to have you just state your name and then keep repeating the vowels A, E, I, O, U. Sound okay?
Okay.
And I'll cue you, don't worry. I'll start recording you in three, two, one. I'm recording.
Helen Redekop, Aiou. Helen Redekop, Aiou. 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 Helen Redekop, Aiou.
Perfect. That was absolutely perfect. Okay. Helen, tell us a little bit about what you would like to accomplish with your health.
Well, about a year ago, I was diagnosed with lymphoma, and it started out with a small lump on my right uh, neck, and it was not too bad until about September. Then it seemed to get quite big. After a biopsy? I had a biopsy in January last year, and they weren't able to take it out because they said it was sitting on a nerve and an artery. So they were just going to wait and see. And for the last year, I've just been trying alternate dandelion, shaga tea. I was doing some cannabis, and about right before Christmas, I started on vitamin C and hyperthermia, and that had a bit of results. And the last 2 weeks, I was doing DCA orally and intravenously, and the last treatment I had was with hyperthermia, and there it seems to have shrunk some, but it's still there.
Wow. Well, that's fantastic. That's very, very good.
And if I can just interject for just
Yes.
a moment. When we started up in December, we started up with the Amethyst Biofeedback. It was a hypothermia farm for red beds. We did a couple colon hydrotherapies with the Aquanet that I have up here. And we've been doing oils, and we've done some raindrop and stuff. So we've got that, and we've got it basically, the pH was very low at 6, and now we've got it bumped up to, with happy caps, to what, 7?
Well, it's still in the sixes.
Yeah, we're still in the 6s. So that's the battle there right now. So,
and my digestive, I've been doing mainly smoothies because I'm not really digesting anything.
and the steams, we've done the yoni steams and the pearls, and she's coming back onto more liquid and going to an alkaline thing. So that's kind of where we're at and what we've done, and we're just waiting to get back into our colonic machine and get it set up for her.
That is very, very, very exciting. Really like amazing progress. I guess, Helen, how do you feel?
Actually, I feel very good.
Okay.
The DCA uh, uh, DCA had the last couple of treatments have made me feel a bit tired, but other than that, I'm still feeling good, and I'm hoping to stay that way.
We get it.
Yeah. Okay, Helen, I am so excited for you. And what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and mute you guys now, and I'm going to do some work, but big kudos and just so much appreciation of how much courage you have, and you're doing all of the right things. You couldn't be in better hands than working with Karen.
I appreciate that. I was very blessed to have found her again.
That is great. And then we'll help you. I'll be in touch. I know you're interested in the Genius, and I'm going to be in touch with you, and we can just talk about what that would look like for you if you want to move forward with that.
Yeah, I would like that.
Okay, I'm going to mute you guys and do some good work over here, okay?
Let's play.
All right, fantastic. Okay, they're so great. Okay, so that's really great. And so you saw the picture of Helen, and it's exciting and it's uplifting to know that she had that idea for herself that things could get better. Now that's one of the main components, and she's in her late 70s, early 80s. I always do a range of ages, so she's between 78 and 84 years young. So, and you can hear that hopefulness. That's the key to life, is that hopefulness. So now I think one of the blessings was that that tumor was close to a nerve, so it couldn't be surgically removed. You guys, one of the things we're going to talk about in the chronic cases class is the terrible misperception that the medical field has about what cancer is and what it is not. And if we just left cancer alone to do its thing and continue to support the physiology of the body, yes, that means possibly none of the Western interventions, and sometimes not even suppressive alternative interventions, although nothing we heard today was suppressive. That cancer might get really, 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 really big until the body's physiological support can kick in. It's sort of like a fever goes to its crescendo. And when you allow a fever to go to its crescendo, as long as it's not, causing any major impediment to immediate life, we know a fever will go to its crescendo, and then the fever will do what? It will break, and then the person after that will get considerably better. So what if, now this is going to sound, absolutely crazy. What if we just let a tumor get as big as it wants to, do whatever it wants to do, and then we gave all the body support and just let it begin to resolve itself? Wouldn't that be the greatest support that you could imagine of the body, affirmation that the body is a self-healing mechanism and able to correct? So we really are going to explore. That's why I'm so excited that we're doing this class. We're going to look at this in detail. Now, it's always the person's decision, whatever they want to do, whether it be the most Western intervention or the least. What we do in biofeedback is we share the energetic information and we provide a perspective. So if you can provide a perspective of the body, that the body provides incredible, that the body holds incredible wisdom, and maybe the less we do, the better it gets. Not that we're ignoring it, we're pursuing very, very subtle and powerful pathways. Maybe that's the way to go. So what I'm suggesting is that biopsies, surgery, of course, chemotherapy, radiation, perhaps they are working against the natural principles of the body. When I was in naturopathic school and we studied pediatrics, I was amazed at how many illnesses were allowed to run their course because the infections were self-limiting. Just learning about a self-limiting infection was one of the most incredible things I ever learned. Self-limiting, the body will resolve it. You don't have to do anything but just support the wellness of the body. Just to give lots of liquids, give lots of rest. What a concept. So I believe that this self-limiting mechanism is not recognized enough in other illness. Now, what's happening with cancer is you're having cancer and resolving it. Many, many, many times throughout your life, perhaps many times throughout the day. And it's only when we capture it in a snapshot and we begin to laser focus our energy down on it that it becomes significant or relevant. Now, all of this has to be carefully, contained, carefully not contained, carefully looked at and carefully, we want to have a balanced approach. We don't want to ignore things, but we also want to respect the body. So what we do in biofeedback is we're able to understand the chronic illness on a deeper level through our investigation, and then we're able to feed that information back to the person. So even in our conversation and our investigation with the person, they are becoming empowered. They're actually healing themselves in our conversation with them as we make them more aware of our genuine and objective findings. So they go, oh, I get that. I get that. That makes sense to me. And they are actually clearing things from their being during that whole process. So the conversation of biofeedback is very powerful that you have with them. Then even the harmonizing subtle frequencies, basically reminding the body to be well. These are best done in repetition. So it's good for the person to either have their own genius or at least have a quanta capsule for you to send them the frequencies. We also want to send our clients away with water remedies or a piece of jewelry that we impress or imprint the frequencies into. We want to extend the session, because as you guys know, one session is not going to do it. Yes, there are miraculous healings, but the way that human beings work, we need to keep re-impressing or re-imprinting the subtle reminder that you're well, you're restored, you're healed. We need to hear it and vibrationally entrain it over and over and over and over again. This is happening even for Helen on her journey as she begins to feel better, right? She goes back, she does another wellness practice, she feels better. Oh my gosh, she feels good. That's like entraining her ability to heal herself, and she keeps repeating it over and over again as things improve for her. Now, to get down to the nitty-gritty of what I was doing while we were talking, you could see that I went over to today's stress, and I wrote down, I'm going to have a new form for you guys doing the practitioner program that's really going to help you. It's going to help you to take notes and really consolidate this information. So I wrote down blood sugar, brain, environmental, virus, acidity, and of course we want to collect them here. But I want to teach you guys to explore the patterns so that you can see how these results begin to fit together. And what came out was a pattern of digestive imbalances. And that is one of the main places that you want to work for chronic illness and especially for cancer. If you work on the digestive system and you give them wellness practices, they are going to get better. They can't help but getting better. And again, just going back to Helen, I think it may have been a blessing that she was not able to do the surgery, because that's not where we want to look for the cure of cutting away. We want to go back to the main source. One of the most interesting things is that being a naturopath for over a decade, all of my colleagues have come to the same conclusion through the science, which is really interesting. And that is that illness starts in the gut. Everything goes back. You look at a kidney illness, it was from an imbalance in digestion. Correct the digestion, heal the digestive tract. You are going to see so many things get better, including cancer. So she was not able to do that particular surgery, and then she had to go back and get focused on the digestive system based on the urgings of, her guide in Karen, and that has led to her feeling better. And the most important question that I asked her was, how do you feel? So you ask them, how do they feel? If they say that they're feeling better, they're feeling pretty good, you guys are on the right track. That their vital force, their responsiveness, gosh, I have more energy than I had in a long time. you can bet your bottom dollar they're getting better. And you should continue to support them in the very same way that you have been. It means you're on the right track. So over and over again, although we don't see as much here, so we see immune system. This is very common in any type of cancer. The immune system is, trying to fight off the cancer and clear it. Nervous system. Now, this is one of the things we talk about, unfortunately, with a C or cancer diagnosis. If their nervous system was okay before, after the diagnosis, it can become wrangled and jangled, because you're thinking we have that cancer consciousness. And that's one of the things in the class I really want to talk to you is releasing that cancer consciousness, which is just helping them to understand this is just a natural, development in life, and it can expand and get bigger as easily as it can. And it can very easily also just resolve itself and come back to normal cell tissue. Even you just telling them that will relieve their nervous system tremendously. So just for looking for some of the commonalities, right? I saw some things going on with the brain. I saw some underlying infections. I definitely saw the continued need to address the digestive system. And you can see the digestion being a very small number. This is where you have all the compressed energy. So we continue to need to give digestive support. Now, cancer, in contrast to what, conventional wisdom will say to people, rarely do people actually die of the cancer. So most people, when they do autopsies, they died of something else and they find an incidental cancer. So again, I'm not saying that people should run around and be irresponsible. They should definitely, do what they need to do to get it properly evaluated. But for the most part, I believe that our Western mechanisms have a poor understanding and a poor ability to place faith in the body to perform these miracles and to heal itself. And we get the clues that we need to empower people through biofeedback, and then we can give them these subtle frequencies in the exact areas that they require them, that they need them. So that's very, very powerful. So we know that the digestive system needs some support. That's really important. So we've gotten that information. And remember to always include emotions. So we want to get the emotions in there. For your chronic cases now, emotions are 756. Of course, who wouldn't be emotional with a chronic illness that they're trying to deal with? So then we always include the emotions. It's much more powerful than you would imagine to include these emotions. I would, try to include all the reds, all the blues. So I'm just going to do that really quickly. I'm not going to do all of them, but I would include all the reds and all the blues. And then you sort of look through here and you want to look through what else seems important to include. Okay, whether it's because it's in red or blue, or because you know that it'll be particularly powerful. Like I always do the flower essences. Also for cancer, you always want to do that 5 to 8 frequency because you want to direct the energy field to heal the DNA. So let's include that one. And we can include a couple more in here as well. I like the number 3. And you can also shoot these up in here and just do some focused, coherent balancing just of the perfect frequency. So these are frequencies of perfection. I'll talk about that in a minute. Okay, so then we just look and we see, is there anything else that seems important? We want to do those flower essences and keep those meanings close by that are in your reference guide. And okay. I just want to bring that up. Okay, so then we want to get these included in the bottom here. Now let's just look for, I want to get to the balancing, but let's just go to the cancer frequencies in particular. So let's go down to the testing libraries that I have here and get them tested, and then we'll get into the progressive insights. So these are all the panels, but we want to look particularly, there we go, We want to look particularly at the cancer ones. So let's just go into the digestive panel, right? Because digestion is one of the most important things. And so insulin sensitivity. So one really interesting thing I've been experimenting with is actually removing fruit from the diet in a very macrobiotic way of doing things, especially in the wintertime when it's cold, and having some good results with that. But insulin sensitivity is more from meat, believe it or not. Consuming flesh products, meat, beef, chicken, can actually be more responsible for insulin sensitivity, surprisingly. Consuming food sensitivity, so you want to look at that. Gallstones, so things like castor oil over the gallbladder liver area would be a really, really good daily practice. It's also very relaxing. Pancreatic output, not suboptimal. I think Dale is on with us and he's going to be in the class. So the whole idea of getting some pancreatic enzymes in there to help the cleansing process. One of the most toxic substances, you guys, really interestingly enough, is undigested food. So anytime, think about your diet. Anytime you're eating really processed foods or very, very complex proteins, meat comes to mind. And as we age, our digestive fire gets lower and lower. So we heard that she's doing smoothies. That's a really good idea because it's going to allow her digestion to regenerate. We do see some need for probably some pancreatic enzymes and some proteolytic enzymes. They're sort of similar, but pancreatic enzymes, specifically enzymes from the pancreas, can be digestive. Proteolytic enzymes are a specific type of specific type of pancreatic enzyme and focus more on breaking up protein. The idea being if you have a lot of protein digestion, you can actually digest the tumor itself. And the idea that our enzymatic deficiency as we age causes the buildup in the body. Alkalize the system. We heard that she's still battling with that. Something interesting to look into, Karen, is the Japanese umeboshi plum. Very, very good to get the plum vinegar, which is not like the same type of energy that regular white vinegar has, or even just eating the umeboshi plum. I don't know how readily available they would be there, but they're very alkalizing. And it's just another approach different from our regular greens approach. So with the colonic congestion, we'd want to clear that up. So the colonics are probably a really good idea. Poor methylation, we'll talk about that in the class. That's, eat lots of beets in your juice, beets in your smoothies, which was weird. Steamed beets, all those things would be very good for driving the methylation pathway, and B vitamins, which you can get B vitamins in brown rice. Rice is one of the most healthy foods on the planet, you guys. Jasmine rice is also a good choice if you don't digest brown rice very well. And it's an unsung hero in Western culture. It is ridiculous that it is removed from the diet in low-carb diets. I won't even go on, but it's ridiculous. So sugar dysregulation, very, very important because tumors are insulin sensitive. So the more we can deal with the blood sugar. Now, here is something that's very interesting, you guys. Totally fascinating. If you eat like your bowl of rice, let's say for breakfast or 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock, you have an amazing capacity. Tests and science now reveal this. You have an amazing capacity to regulate all of that blood sugar and to process it with your pancreas and to bring your blood sugar levels back to normal levels. When the sun is the strongest, okay, it's 11, 10, noon, 2, but the further you get away from that highest point in the sun, especially if you're eating something at 7 or 8 at night before you go to sleep, terrible blood sugar regulation. Same amount of food, same dish, whatever it is, but your ability to process that after the fire outside is reduced, which is about the fire in your belly, you're having lots of blood sugar dysregulation, and you're also not sleeping as well. So one thing that's very interesting is the concept of intermittent fasting or having a prescribed eating time. Now, this is something I really, really strongly believe in. And, nobody has to be tortured with days of fasting to do this. So choose your 8 hours a day. Is 8 hours enough for you to get your nutrition and get enough food? Of course it is. So you're only going to eat between 10 and 6, or you're only going to eat between 8 and 4. That would be a shocker, right? So you only eat during those prescribed hours. So you're fasting maybe until noon. My gosh, that could be shocking in the beginning, but you could get used to it. Then the kitchen is closed at 8, or 10 to 6 is really ideal because you don't have to wait too long to eat. And 6 o'clock, if you can really discipline yourself, or maybe it's 7, maybe it's 11 to 7. Anyway, whatever you can do, your sleep is going to improve and your blood sugar regulation will improve. So this insulin dysregulation, where we can't get the blood sugar down appropriately fast enough, this is something that is associated with sort of a metabolic imbalance that can lead to a cancer. Now, it's not going to happen in everyone. Definitely eating meat and dairy and junk food is going to increase your risk. Okay, now let's go back here and let's go to her aura. Did I put the flower essences in? I think I did. Okay, so let's go to her aura and let's take a look at that. We're going to begin the analysis down here and see what her aura is. What I'm going to do then is I'm going to go to Progressive Insights, and as I'm talking about the results, then we'll be balancing her, we'll come back in. Okay, so this tells me that Karen has probably been working her magic in harmonizing Helen, so she's gotten a bit of a head start. Often this is angelic energy, interacting with, the heavenly forces. So there's some golden light coming down here. I see this as being very positive and good. Now we see gray around here, which maybe this is clearing this out. And we see, at least on my view, we see some gray down here. So gray and black, these are usually associated with physical issues. Helen's looking great. She looks really, really good. So let's take a picture of that. I feel incredibly hopeful and positive about the outcome for Helen. I think she's going to do fantastic. So we go back here and then we go down to the bottom right, and this is where we take all of our hypotheses, which is our pre-investigation about what's going on, and then we hit begin analysis and we do our post. This is where we retest everything, and this is where we're going to get some of our best results. Sorry. And some of our, I always forget to bring water into my office. So this is where we're going to get our best results. And this is where we're going to get our most important information. So the best thing for you to do is not just hit a button here, but explore this information with the person that you're working with. So we want to look at all of the things that are high, and you want to have a paper and pen there, and you want to be writing down the important ones, because you're going to bring this all together. All this is going to make more sense to you the better you really get into this and start to look at the patterns. So let's just look at some of the things here. Nervous system, sadness, a solfeggio frequency, a Bach flower essence, the fact that she's casein intolerance, despair, gallstones, holly, and we'll read about that in a minute, hope. Okay, so let's just take some of these. So what you want to do is you want to step back and you want to say, what do these taken as a whole mean? Or what do some of them say to me? So what they say is, and I usually just check them off as I go down the box here, that the nervous system will be one of the highest value places for Helen to work. So if she can meditate, go for forest bathing, meaning if she's able to take even the briefest of walks in the forest or the woods, whatever she can do, Qigong would be incredibly beneficial. Just go on YouTube and learn 2 moves of Qigong, or learn 1 yogic posture, or learn sun salutation. Even a 90-year-old person can do sun salutation, or at least they can start the process. So anything that will tonify and relax the nervous system, even just doing some active relaxation, which is more like walking around the block, is a good thing. Not just sitting and doing nothing. That's not the best unless you're meditating. because that can lead to a depressive state. But anyway, both physically and emotionally. Anyway, so sadness, you can imagine why there'd be sadness. It's very scary to think about something like a cancer or lymphoma. Okay, so then it says also that a solfeggio tone, this particular tone will be very, very powerful for her. So she could singularly run it in the quick zap, and I'll show you that. Then it says the most powerful remedy for her is rescue remedy. You know, rescue remedy is such a wonderful Bach flower essence that everybody should have in their car glove compartment. They should have in their purse. They should have in their house. They should have in their medicine cabinet, because it is the ultimate give you quick relief from pain, give you quick relief from anxiety. So taking this several times a day may give her relief from that anxiety, because what people with cancer are always thinking about is like, am I getting better or am I getting worse? Am I going to live? Is everything going to be okay? And so this rescue remedy, she could just take that anytime, and it could be like relief, relief, relief. So that could be really helpful, totally non-toxic. Most important thing is for her to stay away from dairy products and anything that would have casein in it. Despair and emotion, gallstones, castor oil pack over the liver, gallbladder, holly. So there's an emotional lesson there. Holly is sort of about insecurity and sometimes being jealous. We all have this, you know, we just all have, there may be no real cause for their unhappiness. So, you know, it's for the person to really figure out the meaning for them. I give them the basic energies. And then elm is those who are doing good work, are following the calling of their life, and who hope to do something of importance. At times, there may be periods of depression when they feel that the task they've undertaken is too difficult and not within the power of a human being. So maybe even her own healing feels like that. So let's we could look through the rest of them, like the colonic congestion, you know, really, really important. Healing the DNA, that 528 is really important. More emotional release, lots of emotional release stuff. So very, very important. And when we get a lot of these high items, it means we're hitting a home run. We're doing really, really well. Let's just go ahead and hit the play button. We play this for a few moments, and then we go back and look at the aura. Let's just go ahead to 3 minutes, or all right, we'll stop it when we want to. So we're going to go to another case in just a moment. I want to get another check of the aura, and then I want to check in on Helen and see how she's doing. If English is not the native language, just a quick look at your questions. If English is not the native language, should they say the vowels in their own language, or is the system looking at a particular language? That is a very good question, Kathy. I love it. So go ahead and they just can say it in their own language. They can say it in their own language. There's, you guys, you could say anything. You could say anything. The vowels are just a way to get different looks at the tone of their voice. Okay. I often get an enormous amount of Bach flower essences when I test myself. How come? Is it really good to include all in the balancing? Thanks, Lena. Thank you so, so much. It absolutely, that usually happens to people who are resonating at a much higher frequency, because for you, you will be most responsive to the Bach flower essences. So you're gonna respond on an energetic level faster than the physical remedies. So they're totally teaching you something, but the fact that a lot of them comes up a lot for our biofeedback practitioners. Okay, the original tongue is much preferred to the actual release, the emotional release oils. The original tongue is much preferred. Oh yeah, that's very, very good, Karen. I like that. So she says, yeah, speaking in their original tongue, that makes a lot of sense. So get people to speak in their own language. That's, brilliant. Okay, so let's go back here to the aura and let's retest it. There was a question, is gray silver? It could be, you guys. This isn't really a precise enough, maybe sometimes a vehicle to that. You can make that intuitive interpretation. I mean, because she's not feeling well and because of what she's dealing with, it probably is more gray, but also it's about density. So if there's sort of a silvery, it's more of a crisp, clear energy and doesn't have a density to it. But, you know, that's going to be your call, you guys. This is as much a science as it is an art. So when we look at this, we look for, you know, here's clarity, here's density. This is some density, But it's really interesting. It's almost like that angelic energy kind of came in here, and when we see it, this is all good. This is all healing. There's a lot of rose pink in here. To me, this is a lot of physical clearing starting to happen that we're seeing. We've gone from that purple, which was a nice higher energy, and we've gone sort of back into the goo, and we're doing some active work in this particular experience. Now, when you're getting ready to end a session, or if you want to end on that purple energy, then often you can use the coherent frequencies. And we saw that this 174 was one of the best for her. So we can continue here. And then I like to look at the aura. Lately, I've been really wanting to just see the aura in some blues and purples at the end. So I feel like that's my sign that we've gotten to a good closing point. Now, you don't have to do that. It's just an idea that I like to follow. Let's just see how Helen's doing and if she had any thoughts on what we looked at. And then we'll get to Julie. We may run a little bit long today, you guys. So if you can hang on past the hour, great. If you can't, then I totally understand. You can catch the recording. I've been a lot better at getting the recording out to the group. So, okay. So how's Helen doing there?
I'm doing good. And I can't say that I felt anything different, but I'm good.
Absolutely. Well, we only ran a couple of seconds, but it looks like you're responding very, very nicely to the work that Karen's doing with you. So I really highly encourage you to keep up the wonderful positivity. I really feel very, very strongly you're going to be 100% successful as you continue to move forward. And that can be, you know, you can define success by that you're waking up and you're feeling good. To me, that's success.
Thank you.
Well, you're very welcome. I'm sending you many, many, many blessings. I know everybody on here is sending you really good positive energy, Helen. So sending you much love, and then I'll be in touch definitely later today to talk to you a bit more.
Thank you.
All right. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, so let's let those guys. Thank you so much, Karen. Thank you so much, Helen. That was wonderful. So we'll just sum up here, and then we'll talk to Julie. And I think we're all going to run a little bit late so we can get some of the animal information there. These cases really do need our dedicated attention. Sometimes they take a bit longer to sort through. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's stop it there. And then let's use one more check of the aura. And that's okay. If your client does not feel this, that is not a problem, you guys. It is going to consciousness the minute you touch the play button. Count on it. It is happening. There are things that are changing. They may not feel them until they go to sleep at night, or they may feel them in the third session, or they may never feel them, but you're going to notice that things are improving in general. In fact, we talk about this a lot in the practitioner classes, that's really important to have people do a symptom checklist, and then they do it every time that they come back in, because, and I probably should have done that a little bit more briefly. It's all good. The reason they do a symptom checklist every time they come to see you is because people forget when they get better that they didn't feel that good. So people forget when they get better that they ever did not feel good. So I think we're continuing to make progress here. We're seeing less and less density. We're only balancing in small intervals, so it's hard to make any hard and fast conclusions, but I think we're making some progress there. And sometimes when you go deeper, more stuff comes up that's ready to be pushed out. So things are coming in here and they're going out here. Okay, so on to another case, you guys. So let me just turn this off for 1 second. I'll take more of your questions. So when you get that warning that says, hey, you're about to lose your records, it doesn't mean you're going to lose them permanently. You're just losing that particular moment in time so you can come back to them. Julie, let's see if we can, this is Julie T. Let's see if we can unmute you. We may not be able to talk to you. If not, that's okay. Okay,
Hello.
hey, hi Julie, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. So let's get you to record your voice. I'm going to have you say your name. Only use your first name since this
Okay.
is recorded. And then say, my name is, say your name, and then just keep repeating A-E-I-O-U until you see the seconds reach 15. I'll
Okay.
count you down here in 3, 2, 1. I'm recording.
My name is Julie. A-E-I-O-U, 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 A-E-I-O-U. Manifesting radiant health and energy. A-E-I-O-U, A-E-I-O-U, A-E-I-O-U.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so Julie, as I continue here, tell us a little bit about as much as you would like to share about what's going on.
Okay, so I suffer from fatigue, problems sleeping, lack of motivation, feeling emotionally disconnected. And I didn't mention before, but I also had Hodgkin's, Bowen's disease, which is a precursor to skin cancer. Had that removed in the last year. And I have a chronic herpes simplex 2 virus that I've had for over 25 years and get near constant outbreaks.
Wow. Wow, that's a long time to have near constant outbreaks. So
Yeah.
what kinds of things have you tried where you've had some measure of success to limit the outbreaks or put longer time between the outbreaks?
The only thing that I found to be effective were eliminating sugar and eliminating nuts. I've been on the Candida diet for the last 3.5 weeks, and I did find that although I was eating a high amount of nuts, the outbreaks seem to be less often.
Mm-hmm. Okay. That's great. Now, since lysine is kind of common for most
Yes.
people who look up stuff online, what has your experience been with taking lysine?
I did try taking lysine. I didn't find it to have really good results, and I don't know if I didn't take enough of it or for long enough.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And have you tried, yeah, so how much did you take when you were taking the lysine?
I don't remember. I probably took, what was recommended on the bottle, but that was so long ago.
Okay.
Yeah. And I
Okay.
also take a protein powder every morning, which has a number of amino acids in it.
Okay, gotcha. So yeah, so that's a pretty profound thing to have something that occurs for so many years. And we definitely think of things like what are called the herpetics, which also include the Epstein-Barr virus. So what are your thoughts about the Epstein-Barr virus?
I don't really know much about it. Are you asking me if I think I
Sure.
have it? I don't.
Correct. No,
Yeah,
correct.
I
Yeah.
don't know.
Okay, well, we can go to this Epstein-Barr in the Progressive Insights. And is the Genius something you're using on the trial, or have you purchased it?
Yeah,
Okay,
it's
you're on the
trial.
trial. Okay, great. When or if you ever decide to do the full purchase or subscription, come back around to me so I can give you some special bonuses. So just go to my website and just get a phone call going with me so we can talk about it.
Okay.
When that time comes.
Yeah.
So this says an Epstein-Barr virus, 96% resonance. What do you think about that?
So that's another question I had for you that I wrote on the sidebar. Does that mean that you have it if it's a high percentage?
We never say for sure that you have it because that would entail a diagnosis, and there are standards that have been set down for what a diagnosis means. But this is an energetic resonance.
Yes.
So does an energetic resonance often correlate with the physical? That we can answer and say, well, yes, it does.
Yeah.
And then a 96% correlation, that's pretty high. So when you're trying to solve your own issues and you're asking yourself, I mean, I would definitely think that some of the things that help Epstein-Barr would help you and help to raise your immune system. So there could be a co-infection going on, or it's also possible that the herpes simplex, that they're so similarly related that one is sort of crossing over and representing as the other one. So that's the other thing that's possible.
Okay.
So now you said avoiding sugar helped. Is sugar something that you're still sort of battling with, or is it out of your food plan? What's your relationship there?
Okay, so normally I do not take white sugar. I use stevia in my tea, and when I have sugar cravings, I'll usually make uh, low inflammation brownies, but they're sweetened with maple syrup.
Okay, fantastic. Now, since you're one of the wisest people with regard to what's going on in your own body, what do you have any sort of crazy theories about why it's been difficult to overcome this particular virus?
Well, there's two things, right? Because STDs are supposed to be emotionally linked to the to guilt, right?
Mm,
And I think I was raised in such a manner to feel guilty about my body, my sexuality, and sex.
mm,
The other would be, I've tried various modalities for this, and I seem to have developed a belief that nothing helps, just based on
mm,
the work that
mm.
I've done over the past, 20 or so years, trying to deal with this.
I think you've hit on two very important pieces. So yeah, it's so easy to fall into that when that's been your reality. That yeah, I mean, yeah, I would feel like that too. Like, oh my gosh, this is just like never going to be able to find a solution to this. So that becomes, you're right. It becomes like a self-fulfilling prophecy, part of your belief system. Um, so how would you approach, and we can figure this out together, clearing these two pieces for yourself?
Well, another thing that comes to mind was I was in a hospital for a period of time and I was not eating because of the nature of my injury. And that was the only time where I did not have an outbreak, when I was not eating.
Oh, okay. So then the gut is something that really still needs to be worked on. And, that's a good reminder of what we were just talking about in the past case, that, yeah, you need to continue to work on your gut. Let's do a quick digestive analysis and let's see what's going on there. Um, Not this one. We want to look at the library. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. But yeah, I think you've touched on some really, really important pieces. Now, have you read the Anthony Williams book where he talks extensively about Epstein-Barr? Because he has a pretty good take on it
No.
in that book. Yeah, that's something that's really good, the medical medium, because he does such a nice job of pointing out how far in the population the Epstein-Barr virus is. And then he talks about some really good ways of overcoming Epstein-Barr. Like a lot of my clients are on celery juice and some different things that they have found to be very, very important. Now, just looking at your digestive, the two assessment here, very, very low energy, even up here at this digestive panel, very, very low energy. In fact, just for fun, let's look at this one. They're both very, very similar. This one is just for cancer prevention, but same thing. So, I mean, still the digestive analysis. So insulin sensitivity. So sugar is something that you may need to limit further for a while. It may be sort of short circuiting your efforts. And it may be part, even in the maple syrup form, this is something for you to determine. It may be still a suppressive thing for the emotions that haven't quite been worked through. It may be just sort of putting a damper on things, and that's for you to decide if it is.
So further limit my intake of sugar.
Look at that as a possibility to see if you do it for a week, do you feel better? If it's no maple syrup, no fruit, I do recommend that people make sure they're having adequate carbohydrates. So good things like rice and potato and sweet potatoes and lots of vegetables. And, how do you feel? How do you notice, what do you crave anything? Do you feel better? Is it that experience like when you were not eating? Because if you get better when you're not eating, then there's definitely a digestive element. It's either something in your digestive system or something in the food that you're eating. And that's
But,
for
but
you to sort of come to that conclusion.
I'm still on the Candida diet. The only fruit I've been eating are berries, which are apparently okay because they're not sweet. And
Uh-huh.
the occasional apple.
Uh-huh. But
But
what about the maple syrup?
no, not while I'm on this diet. I haven't been taking,
Uh-huh.
that's in my normal diet.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, do you eat any meat or dairy?
Not dairy, but chicken and fish on this Candida diet. Yeah.
Okay, well, that's something we'd have to look a little bit more deeply into. What I always have come to the conclusion is I don't do hard and fast things. I don't tell everybody to be vegan. I don't tell everybody to be this, that, or the other thing. When people come to me and they say they're doing this plan, and then I say, is it working? And they say it's not, then we need to do something different. That's just it, period, end of story. So maybe it is, maybe it is more fruit, but maybe it's less fish. We'd have to do a little bit more digging to kind of find that out.
Okay.
Because something about it isn't totally getting you where you need to go. But big kudos for the changes that you've made so far, and definitely getting out the white sugar makes a tremendous difference. So definitely, there's still work to be done on the digestive system. I'm sure if I say some of the things, you're going to say that you probably tried a lot of them. So the other thing is this time travel piece that we're going to be talking about in the chronic cases class. And I'm going to be translating some of it into a panel that I think will be really powerful. But one of the craziest things that you can do that's also really powerful, and I'm not the only one who's doing this, is a reframe where what would it have been like if you had sort of maybe even like two hippie type parents who were like, gosh, just express yourself as you are. Everything's acceptable. We 100% celebrate you however you want to be in all of your, however you want to live your life. Do you know what I mean?
Yes, I do.
It's to actually go back and start to imagine, use your imagination that they were the parents that you 100% wanted to have in terms of giving you the ability to be whoever you are as an adult, sexually or otherwise.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yes.
I want you to actually just sort of write some of that down, and then you keep actually going back to that memory. It should make you laugh a little bit. You
Yeah.
can even imagine them as sort of greater than life characters, like a movie character or a TV character, and who would they be like? And then, but the important thing is that they're celebrating and acknowledging you for how you want to be in the world as a um, not that they're sitting down and they're saying particular things about your sexual practice, but it's more just like that idea that they wouldn't suppress it or tell you it would be wrong. Make
Yes.
sense?
Yes, absolutely.
Can you kind of imagine a scenario like even just to have imaginary parents that would be like that?
Yes. Mhm.
Okay, that is a great practice. And we're going to talk about this more in the class. I'll come back and talk about it more in the webinars too. But the reason that that works is because you build a new past memory foundation. And I mean, does it really matter today, right now, in this moment, how your parents were or how they treated you in the past?
No.
Exactly. It doesn't matter at all. And in fact, we don't even know if our memory of them was actually true or if it was just our interpretation. I mean, I think we
Yeah.
could probably generally agree they probably had repressed, ideas, and that's probably true. But when we reach back to the memory, that's exclusively about us. So if we choose to make up fairy tale or make believe or what we really would have done if we were true creative beings, looking back at it now, and you actually do that, your reversion to the memory will actually come into your present state of awareness. And you can sometimes even feel this in your body. You can feel the change that happens. Sometimes you can feel it in your belly. Sometimes you can feel it in your heart. Sometimes you can feel it in your thyroid. And as you keep sort of enhancing that world of imagination and memory, you're going to notice that things in your body start to free up, that you start to feel better.
Okay.
Because you're not pulling from that place of like, wow, I was pushed down. Maybe some of that was true. All of these things, you sort of open up the energy. So I want you to kind of do that and sort of write me a email about what that looked like for you. Maybe even what those parents, what their dialogue is or what their story is. Tell me a little bit about who they are.
Okay.
This has been done through some of the work of people who do like fertility or bringing children into the world, and they do a total reframe like this where they imagine their past where their parents were the kind of parents who were actually getting ready for them to come into the world, and they even had like a birthing ceremony for them and were consciously welcoming them into the world. And it's amazing how just going back to that past and changing that past even in your imagination can change. I mean, imagine if your parents were like that,
Yes.
where it's like they had a sacred ceremony of, maybe you had a water birth and all of these pieces, but it can change you in the now, and that's where it really matters.
Okay.
So work on that, because you said that was a big piece, and I didn't want to say it, but when I opened up your case and I looked at your picture and I got your date of birth, I actually got that impression. And I
About
wanted you to, about the sort of
what
what you may have been told about a sexual piece, or, I didn't
okay.
know what it was. So
Yeah.
I do think that that's a significant part of it that's still playing in there somewhere. But look at the medical medium book and continue to work on your digestion. In fact, if you shoot me an email, Julie, I'll send you a couple of digestive panels for you to test your digestion with these custom libraries. Sound good?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, I'm going to do a little bit of progressive insights, and then we have to just move on to the animal piece. So thank you so much for being a part of today's class.
You're welcome.
So I hope that that was helpful to Julie in a way here. And let's just go ahead and do the progressive insights and take a brief look at this. Yeah, that Epstein-Barr, you guys, comes right to the top. So that's something that's really important for her to pursue. I wouldn't be surprised to hear that if she pursued some things for the Epstein-Barr virus, that things got significantly better for her. And some of the things in Anthony Williams' book, I always think of the celery juice, but I know he had some other remedies as well. So you can look at that. There is some structural stuff, and we didn't get to what the accident or injury was that she was in there for, but there is some structural stuff. So chiropractic or acupuncture might be really good, or even just doing yoga and stretches. And then definitely there's something going on with that sugar issue. It is confusing if you've been on that Candida diet. I'm wondering, are there ever times when it's sort of like you have like a a break day from it and then you just sort of go wild? But I'm not sure what the missing piece is, but there's something definitely in there, because maybe you're compensating, but yeah, the insulin thing doesn't look right. It looks like it could use some support for the immune system. Also, anything that supports your immune system will be really, really good. Of course, vitamin C, licorice. Let's just do a quick check on that. So, sorry, let's just go. That's why these special custom categories, that's why I've created these. I just actually want to use the word immune system. Actually, that's not right. Immune, I know what I want to do. Inflammation. Okay, I want to look at these. Inflammation solutions, these remedies. So these are really good for inflammation, but they're also really good for the immune system. Those are almost like synonymous. Not getting the information I really want to. All right, let me, when you really need an immune treatment thing, let me just go to infection solutions. Just hang in with me, guys. This will be, I just want to get what the biofeedback says are best for the immune system for a minute. This is a Lyme remedy, Camunda, golden seal, holy basil, cemento, Ganoderma, medicinal mushrooms, Oregon grapefruit. It's funny, we were just talking about this last night with a client. Nattokinase, hyssop. Okay, Oregon grapefruit is actually a really good one to think about. So that's really good for your liver. It's good for your immune system. It has berberine in it, which is good for a lot of other things. And there it goes. It rolled right up to the top, which is interesting, isn't it? So look into, it's sort of a sister herb of golden seal. And looks like that could be really, really beneficial. So think about that. Okay, it looks like we had a lot of comments on that case. When I use my custom categories, my genius crashes. That's a Ryan question, please. Okay. Karen says chaparral. That's good. That's another really good immune support. All right, that was chaparral. One of my mentors, that was one thing she went on about ad infinitum. She'd love to talk about chaparral. We really don't talk about it enough in sort of popular Western herbal medicine. Okay, just one last look at the aura, and then we'll talk about animals. And thanks for sticking in, you guys. We will just do 10 more minutes so we can talk about the animal program, you guys. Sorry, I just wanted to do a quick. So we had a lot of gray in here, you guys. A lot of gray. Let's see if any of that has changed. We only did a little bit of energetic balancing, but even in the conversation, a lot is happening, you guys. If we could see it, you know, clairvoyantly, the person, as they're understanding more about themselves, they're actually sort of tossing off a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff being expelled and released. So this looks a lot better. In fact, we can only find gray over here. So this is very, very good for even just a couple of minutes of balancing. I do think liver and digestive system, continue to really, really work on that. You may want to do a consultation with me, Julie. So, you know, go on my website and look for the consultation, or just send me an email, because I just really feel like there's this one piece about the diet that we need to arrive at. There's some aha moment we haven't quite hit on, and you may be able to do that yourself, of course. Okay, so animals. Animals are some of the most receptive. Let me just picture for a second. Animals are some of the most receptive clients we will ever work with. And if you have not ever tested an animal with the Genius, I highly, highly recommend it because you will get great results. Hang on one second. We do not need the voice of the animal in order to be successful. So you can just, why is my picture in here for my dog? Okay, well, I don't know. I don't know what happened there. Let me see. I want to work on, just talk about it with my dog, one of my dogs here. Just bear with me, guys, for just 1 second here. Okay, so let's see. Yeah, you don't need to have their actual, I'm sorry, I'm trying to do 3 things at the same time. Maybe I'll just enter his information. So I have 2 dogs, and I'm trying to remember the birth date of one. Okay, hang on. All right, let's put in the other one. His name is Hutch. He's a cattle dog. And you can use the picture. You can use them live. You can take something of them barking. Let's see, it's 17, so he was probably 14. Okay, and just you guess the date, maybe you'll get a sense of, you know, intuition about it. It doesn't really matter, okay? And it's a boy dog, so let's get a picture. You could do a picture from your phone that you've taken. You could do a live picture. None of that stuff matters. And then for a cat, the cat could be purring, the dog could bark, or you could just skip it. That's also, you know, not a problem at all. You could speak as a surrogate for the dog. So you could speak the dog's frequency. You could also just skip it if you don't resonate with that. All right. Okay, so yeah, so it's super, super easy. So don't, you know, there's like words and stuff above there. Don't worry about that too much. Really, it's your intention and getting the energy of the picture that really, really matters. So it's one of the easiest things to do. Dogs love to be worked on. They respond very, very easily, as do, you know, cats are obviously very, very energetically sensitive. And the cat, you could do the cat purring would be totally fine, or no voice at all. It still works. So meridians, solfeggiotones, so very, very high vibrational stuff, amino acids, sensitivities, interesting, chemical sensitivities. This is huge for dogs, you guys. This is a good one to look at in general. Let's see what comes up here. But herbicides, pesticides, because the dogs are always out. Let's see what's down here. I mean, did I call it or what? So yeah, it's terrible because of the, I don't spray any on my lawn, but of course it's traveling. Dogs always have their nose in the grass and the dirt. And that's probably why so many of the dogs today, unfortunately, are experiencing cancers and so, but cancel. I don't want to say anything for my animals, but I'm just saying, like, I don't want to even have weed killer on my lawn. They're picking it up from everywhere. So that's probably what the chemical sensitivities are. Body system, same as a human. Let's see what body system he's working on here. Digestive, not surprised. And this is a good touchstone for me because I was using some dog enzymes and some dog probiotics in the past. I think I'm going to go back and start that. Integumentary, that's really interesting. He may just have some itching that I'm not aware of. Reproductive stuff, not sure what's going on there. Lymphatic. And of course, your dog and your cat and all of your animals are little sponges for whatever's going on with you. So they do tend to energetically take on a lot of your stuff, as you guys know. So it's good as you clear them, you actually clear themselves. I guess this is an autoimmune response here, sensitive to dog, sensitive to grass. I don't think it's really autoimmune, you guys, but that's pretty funny. It could be the other dog that he's sensitive to. It could be his own dander. Corn would be interesting. I wonder if there's corn in some of the food that I don't realize. And I'm not sure about all of these. We could just include them. Animal hair, that's hilarious. Milk, yeah, he does get a little bit of a, you go out and such, he gets a tiny, tiny bit of a treat that has some milk in it, but not very much. Okay, so you get the idea. So this is fantastic. And then you can do, often dogs will really resonate with these high vibrational pieces. So with meridians, with solfeggiotones, with nogiers, and you can definitely use the nogiers on animals as much as you use them on people. Not a problem at all. Small intestine, liver, stomach, really interesting. And then you can use the solfeggios. I also have the animal companion program, so you can work on your dog with specific remedies that are made for dogs and made for animals. So let's just look at those. It takes a while to go through all of there we go. So let's just look at the standard process. I don't use standard process as a human remedy, which they probably wouldn't want to hear me say, but I really love them for the veterinary remedies. So let's just see anything that he needs, and this tells us more about canine flex support. Okay, so that's for the joints. Dental stuff, interesting. Yeah, he needs a dental, and we're trying to keep those teeth clean. Hepatic support, interesting. Okay, dermal support, we saw the skin stuff, so that's really, really fun to be able to look at that as well. And I do have some canine conditions, feline conditions, and equine conditions, and I worked with a veterinarian to get some of those frequencies that are in the companion animal program. So that may be something that you want to work on. Emotions and flower essences, again, just as much as they are for humans, they're really, really powerful, for dogs and cats and all types of animals. You guys, I've worked on wild birds in my yard with frequencies and had success, and worked on all manner of different animals, a mouse, with these different frequencies, and found them to be very effective. So you can, even if you don't know an animal's date of birth, you can take a picture of that animal. You can use your intention. It's really, really, really powerful. Here's the animal companion program. There we go, if you want to get those frequencies. Now, what's interesting, if you guys just notice in the progressive insights, is look how high the herbicides came up. So that's something I didn't realize. So he's really still is, in my neighborhood being exposed to those herbicides. Canine hepatic support, he needs support for working with those herbicides. That little treat that he's getting every once in a while isn't helping him. Some digestive stuff, conception vessel, that's a great meridian to work on. I don't think he's ever gotten tomatoes, but anyway, you get the idea. There's all of those remedies, so that would these are great frequencies to run for him. But you will see miraculous results with animals. You could run them for an extended period of time. If they're in an acute issue, you could take their water remedy and put it in their bowl or their drinking water. But animals just have no resistance. They don't have the mental resistance that we have. Oh, it won't work. I don't think it's going to work. So they're very, very receptive. And don't be surprised if you start running the frequencies and the dog falls asleep, or all of those changes, there's definitely something going on. They definitely feel it, they experience it, and it's really, really wonderful to do that. Yeah, there was an article recently, really a great TED Talk, where this guy discovered that with all of the cancers of animals, that he actually found published research that by giving your dog greens, 1 serving of greens 3 times a week, so a little bit of kale. Yes, you can give your dog some cooked kale. You can give it to him raw, but it's probably better cooked. Greens, collard, whatever, some broccoli. If they just got 3 greens per week, that increase their ability to not get cancer or increase their resilience in the face of getting cancer. Anyway, 80% prevention with just 3 servings of greens a week. And if you think about most people who serve their dogs kibble and so forth, they really don't get any fresh vegetables, really. So that's really fantastic. When it says you keep losing your screen in the comments, Vivian, that is because I'm entering some confidential information. Not my dog, but because you can see my other clients, I'm usually just trying to hide that, just so you know. Okay, you guys, so we have been on really quite a long time today. I want to thank you for sticking with us to the end. Consider signing up for the chronic healing class. It's going to be a good one. Join me in San Diego at the end of April if you want to. You can register for that now for the good rate. And hey, John T, I've seen you sign up for the trial there. Hey, anyone who's got the trial and wants to do personal demonstration with me, or just wants to chat about what they should do next with the Genius. You found it interesting, you don't know what to do next, just go to my website, Awaken Total Health, hit the contact us. I'd love to hear from you guys, whether it's a question or you want to chat on the phone. So definitely shoot me a message. Go to my website, awakentotalhealth.com. You can see all types of information, including this recording that will be posted on the website. You guys asked like amazing questions today. So thank you we have such a really good group of people in the community. So I just really have to compliment some of you guys are very, very bright and had really great comments. So we have such wonderful healers in the field here. So thank you so much. We're just going to do a quick look at the aura. And then there was something on the website I wanted to show you guys, and that is in About Us. You can read about me, you can read about the upcoming events, but I just want to tell you, this is where the past trainings are. About Us, and then the trainings, and then it's right here. So this is where all of the, I just got to zoom out. If you scroll down to the bottom, that's where all of the videos are. Okay, and of course they're on my YouTube channel as well, so that might be another quick way to get them. So that's all the past trainings. Okay, well, Hutch is looking really, really good. You see that this is like the higher vibrational world of dogs and cats. They're in such a naturally in a state of oneness that we can only imagine. They're in such a wonderful state of coherence for most of the time. So see that beautiful purple there, and there is a little bit of cloudy stuff that could be cleared up, that could be made better. So a little bit more balancing would probably do the trick. But you will see amazing results with dogs and cats, you guys. So definitely take some time to do 5 or 10 minutes for your companion animal today. Get the program if you want the other frequencies, and then we'll see you next week. All right, you guys, have a great day. Take care, everyone. Be well. Have much, much love and much prosperity for your week. Take care now. Bye-bye.